All right, hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing well out there. So today we're going to do another video, and it's going to be part two of the last video I did where I went into how I got into pinball and what I'm doing today, etc. So this video today is going to be part two, and in this video it's going to take us back in time a little bit. And the year would be 1963. So in the year 63, 1963, that's when we moved onto Summer Avenue in Newark, New Jersey, across the street from Essex Catholic High School, and on the corner was the candy store. So what I didn't mention in the last video that I did was that from 63 to 1969, I played all the time. Was always in the candy store. Every single penny I got went into that pinball machine or jukebox. I would walk to school and save the bus money so that I could play pinball when I got back home from school. It was quite a walk too. I would say, if I had to judge, generally, I would think it would be, at least a 2 mile walk one way, maybe 1.5 miles, something like that. I'm going to clock it one day with my car, and we'll figure it out what the true mileage is. But yeah, I would walk to school, save the bus money, walk back from school, save the bus money. Do anything I can to scrap up some dimes and quarters and stuff, some change to play the games. So in 1963 it started. I was 7 years old and they let me play in the candy store on a milk crate. Of course I was too small to not use the milk crate. So I got a good 6 years playing in the candy store, and then in 69, of course, in the last video I mentioned that my dad had bought me a Gottlieb 1963 Sweethearts, which I'm leaning on, and that game went into the basement, and that was the year that I began to let some of the players down into the basement and play for a nickel a game and 5 games for a quarter. So you know that from the last video. But what I wanted to mention also is, I think it was in the last video, that was the year I discovered Bally Bingo Pinball Machines. So the other thing I forgot to mention in the last video was in the early 60s, 62, 63, 64, on up into the early 70s, my dad's side of the family, which he had 9 brothers and sisters, would all go down to Seaside Heights, New Jersey. It's the shore area down by the ocean and the beach. All of us, all my uncles and aunts, my cousins, we would go down for a whole week. Sometimes it would be 9 days, 2 weekends and the full week. So around 9 days we would all go down there. My dad, my uncles and aunts, they would rent these bungalows, these small little apartment, and every year the same place on Hamilton Avenue in Seaside Heights, New Jersey, we would all go down there and spend 10 days. So that was such a, I don't know, special time for me, because to be around 7, 8, 9 years old and discover pinball in the candy store on Summer Avenue in Newark. When we went down to the shore area, I had so many arcades that I would visit and play pinball for that 10 days down in Seaside Heights, New Jersey on the boardwalk. I remember all the arcades, Casino Pier, the Central Arcade, there was the the other one was had a merry-go-round in it also. It was in more towards the south end of the Seaside Boardwalk. I forget the name of it, but there was also Royal Arcade where they had pinball machines. So, I mean, the boardwalk back in the early '60s, I can't tell you, there was so many EMs. Of course, there was no solid states then, but that's obvious. But I can't tell you, the Casino Pier at least had 40 games, 50 games. Central Arcade had at least 20 pins, pitching bats. You could take photos. They had, a lot of arcade games from the 50s and 40s for a penny. I mean, one thing I distinctively remember about the Royal Arcade, which was towards Seaside Park on the boardwalk, they had a bingo called Dude Ranch that Bally put out. I think it was 1953, if I'm not mistaken. A game called Dude Ranch, and they wouldn't pay you off with cash like they would when I was playing the games on the streets in Newark, New Jersey. But they would give you the payout was you had to win 100 games, 100 replays on this 1953 Bingo Pinball machine called Dude Ranch. If you managed to do that, they would give you a carton of cigarettes. So I remember it was later in the 1960s that I encountered this Dude Ranch down in Royal Arcade. So it was more towards the end of the late 60s. I did manage to play it. It was nickels. I used to get a roll of $2 in nickels. I think that's 40 nickels. That's a lot of nickels to drop into the Bingo Pinball. So I still played regular flipper games, but by this time I was really into the bingos too, so I would go to Royal Arcade and play some bingos. They actually won bingo, the Dude Ranch. And I did manage to win 100 games one time and got a case, of cigarettes. I wasn't smoking. I tried to smoke, but after I won them, but it was just too nasty for me, so I don't know what I did. I think I gave them out to my family, the uncles at the Shore Resort houses we were staying at. But yeah, getting back to all the flipper games on Seaside Heights Boardwalk, man, I'm telling you, I was in my glory. I saved all year long, and we would go down late July for the last 2 weeks. And I bring all that money that I saved all year long from my paper route, cashing in soda bottles, whatever, carrying bags at the supermarket to people's apartments, because where I lived there were a lot of high-rise apartments right around the corner from the candy store. So I managed to make some coin back then and get to play all the games on the boardwalk. I mean, everything was there. King of Diamonds, Bank of Ball, all the early wedge heads, a lot of 2-player games, 4-player games, Williams. There might have been a Chicago coin. There were wood rails, EMs. I mean, the list went on. I would hang around in the arcades during the day when my parents and uncles and aunts were at the big swimming pool that Seaside Heights had right next to the Casino Arcade. The pool was called Casino Pool. So I could walk out of the pool and walk up maybe 8 sets of steps. Was very wide, 20, 30 feet wide steps that led into the Casino Arcade. So during the day, I didn't go in the pool. I didn't hang around by the pool. Couldn't wait to just get stamped to get into the pool and then go up in the arcade and hang around in there all day. I would check the where the coin would come down when you reject the coin. I would check there for nickels. I would hang around, watch people play, older guys mostly. Sometimes they would leave me games. Sometimes I would walk all over to all the arcades and just look at all the credit wheels and see if I could see if there was a free game up that someone left or didn't know that they won. I mean, I was just a casino rat. I mean, an arcade rat for all 10 days. Then after we left the pool and went home and ate and went back on the boardwalk at night, it was all night in the arcades. I didn't go on no rides. I didn't play no miniature golf. I didn't have any ice cream, candy, apples, cotton candy, nothing. All the money went into the arcades. So I just wanted to make this video today and sum up some of the early 60s, 1960s, and let you know how I got hooked back then and what I did in them early days of before I became a teenager, 7 to 13 per se. So I hope you enjoyed the information that I let out today. And I think I'm going to cut this video short now. I want to keep them maybe 10 minutes. I hope I didn't go over. So next time, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but this is part 2 of the last video I did. Getting to know me, talking pinball. Until next time, stay well and be on the lookout for the next video.